Hi everyone, it's Veronica Bartolini, Code Breaker Real Talk, and I have Celeste Chaparro today. How are you, Celeste?
I'm good. How are you? How's everyone?
Good. I wanted to share this screen here. Did it work? To talk about the stuff that we've been talking about. Oh, where is it? Where are we? Here we go. All right, so Navy demonstrates swarm of armed robot boats, and I am going to claim the Media Freedom Act. Okay, this is for educational purposes, and I will go ahead and show this stuff that's online. We got to say that so we don't take down all that stuff. So here we go. The Newport News, Virginia, in August 13 of 2014, 4 unmanned remotely operated high-speed maneuvering service targets moved to their blocking positions during an Office of Naval Research sponsored demonstration. I don't know if they have a video to show, but basically now the military, instead of using soldiers, they want to use the unmanned robots, pretty much AI patrol boats. Now, I know that Clarify Tech is a very popular tech company. And there was a lady there that quit because she had mentioned that one of these robots had killed a human and she didn't want to work with them anymore. Let's see what this has to say. Again, we are quoting the Freedom Act. A ver, ¿qué dice aquí? Come on down, you're the next contestant. The autonomous swarm demonstration sponsored by the Office of Naval Research, ONR, highlights a first of its kind technology that gives naval warfighters a decisive edge through enabling unmanned Navy vessels. Why isn't it playing? Come on, guys. Play.
And the Marine?
And
Isn't that the Marine SEAL? What it look like?
There we go. Let me make it a little bigger. Stop it, Lola. High-speed maneuvering surface targets break away from formation to take up block. Oh.
Designate red osmo.
Unmanned surface vehicles commence autonomous attacks. Run.
You're to engage. Yeah.
That's so scary. This looks like it's a ghost or something.
War games, baby. Unmanned surface vehicles circle contact of any type.
So is that supposed to be like the target, the enemy?
Office of Naval Research, Science and Technology, ONR. Ah, I thought they were gonna show the whole thing.
Oh. Guess I don't want to scare people yet.
They said supposedly that they were gonna do it in 2014. Oh, it's a tire commercial.
Okay.
Sure. So Now, obviously, then we have the hackers, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's this thing in Las Vegas, 2019, there's this guy that was talking about DEF CON in 2019, how it's called this game that's called Spot the Feds or Spot the
Mhm.
Fed. And so the people that were playing this game there, they said, oh, this guy's a hacker. And the guy's like, what? Just because I have tattoos? You don't know who the hackers could be. They could be in your family, they could be your son, they could be your kid, they could be your best friend, just because
Mhm.
somebody has tattoos or is in uniform, right? Then you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
Spot the Fed. So yeah, these we were talking about how these war games now, and there is actually no act yet to protect humans against these unmanned boats, and pretty much there isn't really anything out there to protect you, not even from your freaking phone, you know?
Nope.
Not even from TikTok. Like we were talking about TikTok earlier, and right before it came out, I told my family and everybody online, I'm like, do not go there. It's a Chinese spyware to
Mhm.
spy on children, to do also trafficking, child and sex trafficking. Also, it's meant for it to go into your subconscious quick, like because you're doing is scrolling, right? And like
Yep.
next video, and you don't even give your mind or your heart a chance to say, is this real or is this fake? How do I know this is not an AI made video? Like they were talking about Kanye West and Kardashian. They were saying that he has his songs made by AI.
I wouldn't doubt it. I'm hearing a lot of now these artists are just AIs, writing all their songs, and all they got to do is just perform it. I don't know if that show that was something called The Idol about that girl that becomes a pop star and just shows you. I don't know if they show that in the show, but they should.
Let me show it, okay? See if up here.
Gods and goddesses. One phase, another conflict takes place because the human race requires that the pantheon always be together.
It requires what? The human race to what?
Requires the pantheon always be full of all these stars, these gods and goddesses. And what was the show? The show called Workaholics. They were talking about celebrities, like, yeah, they just give you a reason to live, and I'm like, they don't give me a reason to live. They're not doing anything for me. They don't care about you. They don't
Just
give a
like
fuck
the
about.
presidents. The president, they don't care. They just
Yeah, they don't care. They just want your money and shit. And it's just like, you know, Beyonce and them, they all got like these big, huge houses, a fucking $30 million countertop, and then you're throwing your hard-earned cash. You're barely making it, but I gotta go to the Beyonce concert, or I gotta go to this concert. Giving away your luge. You're giving away you're pretty much just worshiping them, putting the offering at their feet. Like all these false gods. Like, what do they do for you? Nothing. They're not doing anything. And soon, yeah, AI is gonna be the new god. They're trying to get everyone used to AI. Everything's going to be AI powered. And that's what they want. They want people fucking just dependent on AI and technology. Like, don't go outside. Don't make real relationships with people. Don't do something that's going to benefit you in the long run. Just stay in your house and stay in front of your fucking computer or your TV or your phone.
you
Just
know,
like just like in Bell, they just go into that world like in Bell, that world of you or whatever it was called, and everyone's just like this weird character, and they're just living their life in this weird ass world, and it's like I don't want to live a life like that.
I'm looking up the breeding program that you sent me.
Hmm.
I don't know if it'll show it full version here.
Hmm. Otherwise, it's on Odyssey. That's where I found it.
Okay, which one should I play? The first one, the second one? Let's do
Probably that one, the first one, because it says full version.
this one,
The first one, the blue one.
that one on the left.
Hmm.
Okay, and again, we're doing this for the Freedom Act of Education.
Mhm.
All
We're
right,
here to educate.
is it gonna play?
No, it says it's not going to. Oh, there you go.
Play.
All the world's a stage. Is it any wonder that that's one of William Shakespeare's most memorable lines? Even people who could care less about poetry. And much like Da Vinci and the others, is it any wonder that there seems to be some sort of cryptic, mystic, embedded meaning when he talks about this is the 7 ages of man in the same act as he opens with the words, all the world's a stage. Well, as they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So if you've seen these, I'd like you to kind of bring back to memory these 2 motion pictures. They convey huge concepts that
Like
I
the
don't have
Truman
time
Show?
to revisit right
Mhm.
now. But you should have them in your consciousness because they're predictive programming, so they're supposed to be there. The first one is The Truman Show, and the second one is They Live.
Mhm.
Oh, you might want to keep these glasses handy because I want to take a second look at a few things. And some of it is, it's going to be hard to believe. But as we go through some of this stuff, just kind of keep that in mind. The Truman Show meets They Live. And hopefully, once we look at it this way, you'll be able to make a whole bunch of connections that I'm not even going to mention in this video. And again, I know this is a long video, but please bear with me and please hang around till the end because this is not a video about just transgenderism. This trans agenda is far more than sex. So please hang around and wade through the transgender portion to get to the other stuff. I'm going to talk about mkultra, and I'm going to talk about the Montauk Project, and I'm going to talk about the alien agenda. Yes, I will start out with the transgenderism among the aristocracy throughout all ages of history and trace it back to the mystery schools and all of that. And all through Hitler's SS brown shirts, you know, which ties into the Ashkenazi Jews that I was talking about in the last videos. I'll even be talking about SRA and all sorts of things. So please be patient and be willing to invest a little bit of time. You know, we gave the public indoctrination system, public education, at least minimum 12 years of our life.
So should I like go through it? Because it's pretty long. And then I can also write it down in the links for this video. Should I go like toward the middle? I could go through the, what did
Oh,
you,
for the one part you're talking about?
yeah,
The part with the lady talking, it's at 1 hour and 16 seconds.
an hour and 16 seconds. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just go through it and see what's up.
Life. And a lot of us, another 4 years, giant drug fueled homosexual orgy in there amongst the Catholic hierarchy. This is
So they're talking about busting an orgy at the Vatican.
Mhm.
They're wearing orange, like the House of Orange.
Oh, yeah, right. Or like, you know, when you go to prison, you wear orange.
And orange and prison, they use that color to try and take people's power away. Okay, I'll play a little bit here.
a strain of dynasties that say they descended from the ancestral gods, and that's why they were the kings and queens and royal families and all of that type of thing. And that exactly matches the Bible story of the fallen angels. Whether it's Aleister Crowley saying that he is channeling these demons, openly saying it and writing about it, or whether it's these new books they're putting out that they're saying, oh, we have formed our new world religion on these ancestral pagan gods from ancient times, but the androgyny and all of that.
The androgyny. And then if you guys remember that video that I made a week or two ago about how I saw a vision that the next thing that they wanted was for people to become pretty much eunuchs, you know? And I'm like, why is it like in that movie Nikki that I talked about yesterday, it's like, or the other day, why is it that they always like to take it up the you know what, the butt? Why are they so obsessed? Is it because that's their way, the reptilian way of getting it up their butt? Like that's the kundalini that they need from us, our energy? It's like, no. I mean, even the movie Nikki, they had an actor portray Hitler, and they would make him bend over like 5 times a day or more and put a pineapple up his butt. Like, what the hell is wrong with these mother effers?
They're
These,
just perverted, man, and they're just showing you how perverted they are, but then they hide it in comedy, like, you know, that toilet humor, and everyone just thinks it's funny, and they're like, have you seen this movie? Oh my god, it's so funny, and it's just like,
it's sick.
okay, it's like, are you telling me you want a pineapple up the butt then? Like, is that what
Yeah,
you want?
you know what? I just remembered SpongeBob and the pineapple. What is the significance there? And then of course black water, because I did have a vision when I was in my mind. I saw like this SpongeBob Island, and it was like Epstein. Somebody posted it too. I think it was Parley that posted, what is the significance with SpongeBob and Epstein Island? And then when I had the vision, I was waking up that one morning and I was like, why am I seeing this? You know, and it was like black water underneath. And that's when I had that show. I don't know if you were on with Tom Althouse and Chad, and he's like, yeah, that's a black water, that's a black rock. That's like, you know, their whole thing. I mean, even if you look at it, there's an asteroid that hit Mecca or something. Se llama Mecca, algo así. And a lot of nations go over there and praise and worship this cube, this.
Yeah, even Trump went, and everyone's like, Trump's gonna come back, and he's the savior, and it's just like, how are you not seeing that he's a part of all this too? Like, even my mom, dude, she's so Trump, 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 and I'm just like, whatever, dude. Like, you just can't get through to. Yeah, she's pretty much brainwashed, dude. She keeps just repeating that same story. Like, everyone says this is racist, but there was this black lady living in one of the rooms in one of his hotels or some crap, and they were trying to kick her out, but he let her stay there. And I'm like, how do you know she wasn't paid?
Right.
You know, I'm like, how do you? I'm like, or they could just be saying that, like, this is like the dude's got money. You really don't think like he's just gonna have, you know, make up some story just to make him look good? And she just kind of got quiet. She goes, well, you just never know. I'm like, yeah, exactly. You just never know. And I'm like, so why are you keep telling people this story? And then at the end, it's just like, but at the end of the day, you don't know if it's freaking made up or yeah, it's somebody who works for him that makes more money than you do.
Dude, you know, they could also use her as a breeding program. This is called the breeding program, right? What we're looking at. And I was telling you earlier, dude, like I broke ties with this dream that I had. It was so real. Like some man, he was white with blue eyes, and he had used me to have his baby. It was a boy. And I'm like, what the hell? And then all I had to cover the baby, and it was so warm and beautiful, like it was a boy. And I had aluminum foil paper. Like, what the hell? Is it
That
a
was Veronica.
blanket, you know? And all I did was I held him and I ran away, and I'm like, no, 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 no. And when I woke up, I broke ties, and I commanded that these beings, you know, these Alpha Dracos, says your internet connection is unstable. Oh, so these drugs, you
Yeah,
know,
you froze for a little bit.
these Dracos, like they want to just have these babies with our bloodlines, and it's like, why? Because they want all of our superpowers, right? Our abilities, and then now they are adding AI. So not only us, you know, us that are the starseeds that are here now, most of us were used with a more bloodline, right? Because we come from that. That's like our origin. Our bioluminescence is pretty much the Moor line. And then the war that is going on is with the redhead, green eyes, and the blonde hair, blue eyes, right? So some of them decided to make ¿cómo se dice? Combine the bloodlines. And what happened? They used us as a bioluminescence, the number 3, right? We have that bloodline, and what is the middle? Us. We're the bioluminescence. We are the freaking divine that makes this happen. And some of the Dracos and some of the others, they were mad because, you know, they decided to use this as the grand experiment where they, the blonde, you know, pure blood, supposedly, they wanted to keep their blood pure. And the whole thing of killing the first baby born, you know, in the Bible where it says, you know, you better put some, you know, some blood up there to protect your firstborn or whatever. That's pretty much what I see, is that the firstborn are pretty much, we are the ones that have like all the abilities and like all the bloodlines. Now, if that person, like something goes wrong with that person, that they, then they get the second born or the third born, and they keep spicing up. How do you say in español? Te dan más, they do more mixes with you, more experiments, things like that too. Anyway, so now they want to add AI to the perfect being, which is pretty much us, the ones that have both bloodlines plus the more bloodline. And the more bloodline, if you look at that movie, 3,000 Years of Waiting, that Carly told me to watch, and I told you to watch, the jinn, it's pretty much, that's our bloodline, and we are gold. We are made out of gold. And what happens is when we are used to be genetically engineered or modified with the dust, we'll just say we're those things or entities that don't really have a soul and don't have any abilities. They just want our bloodline. What they do is they mix it. So we'll say they're dust and we are gold, and so it goes on and on. Like, if you see that movie, if you have a chance, I was like kind of worried because, I have to use this stupid beanie hat that has, shouldn't say stupid, but it has the nickel on it. And I'm very sensitive to energies today. Like I told you, I had a huge migraine. And then I was in the middle of cooking. And when it was like the highest painful point, my stove goes out. And I'm like, dude, I don't know if I'm going to do the show or not, but I was able to, after all that, I was able to come back. But there's a scene in that movie where he's like turning like into like either charcoal or stone because of the freaking 5G tower, because of the everybody talking. He can hear everyone talk, all the frequencies. So, we are transmitters. Okay. You have to be careful, because if you listen to the other side that are telling you to go with the dragons, to go with the Dracos, to go fight with them, that you're a super soldier with the dragons, that's giving your power away. And there is a war, literally, as I speak, there is a war right now on Earth and above Earth and below because of this. Because the parties are all mad at each other, right?
Yeah.
Because of the bloodlines.
It's like, I'm better, I'm better, no, I'm better. And it's just like, if everyone's better, then nobody's better. If you're important, then you're really not important, or nobody's really important. It's just, people gotta say, I'm the realist. And so, like, if you gotta say that, then that just shows you're hiding insecurity. And I don't know, I just gotta just, the whole shallow well and the deep well. Like, do you want to be the shallow well where you're just gonna make noise right away, or are you gonna be the deep well and just really take it in? And then once you've really, really, really marinated on it, then you can make your reply or whatever you gotta say. Because most people just want to already just, they just want to be heard and seen, but then, they just look stupid, put their foot in their fucking mouth, instead of really sounding like you have something to say, something profound, something insightful. People just want to talk and just look at me. And I think that's why we're stuck in this war, because the humans just want to be stuck in their lust and in the bullshit and the money. So, I mean, this is just my idea. I'm not saying this is what it is, but, maybe Mother Earth called out to different warriors from different star systems. Is like, my people don't want to fucking do it, so I need to ask for outside help. And now you're stuck here, trying to figure out this human existence and then figure out who you are at the same time, like.
To outsource. No, I think you're on point, dude, because yesterday I was like, you know what? If there is a God, it has to be a female, man. It has to be like Mother Earth or some shit. It has to be the feminine power. Because why? I'm just saying, okay, why if there's a gender, okay, we know that, we don't play that game with genders. But it's like, I was thinking, and why are men so infatuated with the woman body? I mean, yes, we are beautiful, but I'm saying, okay, well, because we birthed the male, and then they just, we are their goddess. We are the goddesses that bring the men and the women into this life. And
It's
now,
like they forget that, and then they just treat women like shit. And it's just like, were you not born of a woman? Like, do you not have a mother? It's not like your dad just and you were here in a corner by himself, and I'm like, yep, I had to be a boy.
sold his sperm. Oh my gosh. No tiene
Yeah.
madre, okay, güey. Acá no. Uh, no tiene madre. So like when we say that, you know what we.
Right.
So
Motherless
it's
goat.
like, hey, no, seriously, like what happened to Mother Earth's children that, you know,
And Peter was talking about this earlier when, on the recent show with Jessica and Peter. He was like, yeah, it's like humans are going back to their primitive state. Like they're just, instead of like ascending and becoming more advanced, it's like they're just declining and just going backwards. You know, they're going back 100 steps versus 100 steps forward and trying to become a much more illuminated race. But I mean, it just seems like people just want to be stuck in their bullshit, man. Like the stream that I had, and I told you about it, where I felt like I was back in Flagstaff with my family, and then out of nowhere, this tornado came out of nowhere. But it looked like a, what do you call it? Like a comic book cartoon tornado. Like it just looked fake, but everything else was real, and it was like before St. Patrick's Day, because I could see everyone in downtown Flagstaff all like dressed in green and without the bullshit. And so this tornado comes, and me and my mom just start praying for it to go away, and then it finally went away, and then everyone just was like, "Oh, okay, it's gone," and then they just went back to their bullshit, and I was like really upset, and I was like, "Really?" Like, so they just expect people just to fight their little battles or take care of their little mess, and then they just go back to the bullshit like as if it never happened, and it gets exhausting having to always fight.
they're getting ready to do another one with and then SARS along with H1N1 along anyway.
Mm-hmm. Dude,
Education.
and then I recently had another dream that it was here where I'm living now in Sun City, and since we're like 15 minutes away from Luke Air Force, I had a dream that Phoenix was getting bombed by the jets. And again, I was with my mom, and she was like, "Yeah, like the big cities get bombed first because we're like a little community, like it's just for like the 55 plus people." And so we were safe, but I'm like, who knows if they're gonna come over here and start bombing the oldies, you know? And since we live here, yeah, dude, I was like, I don't consent to that, man. 'Cause I mean, I see them flying every day, these jets, and sometimes I get a little nervous, and I'm like, what if one day they just finally just start fucking dropping fucking missiles on us? We don't know what they're practicing for. They tried to say it's
Well,
for the
right now
defense
they're doing a lot of military, ¿cómo se dice?
practices or exercises.
Exercises. Yeah, that's what they're doing. And this even here, the what I call the manta ray, the big ass one flies here about 10:30, 11 o'clock every freaking night. It's freaking huge. Like I would say like 4 football fields huge, and it's so fucking loud, you know. And you think that it's like two helicopters light, but it's actually this big ass, you know what I'm saying? It's big ass shit. And we have Davis Mountain Air Force Base here.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that here, right around the corner, A Mountain, there's a DUMS right there.
Yeah,
And
one got it.
et cetera, right? Well, as far as your dream, I had a dream in February where there was, I think I told you, where it was a white chopper and it had a white string attached to a, como se dice, un tornado también. It was like a tornado. And there's a bunch of like trafficking going around. They were like bringing in women that were pregnant, and and then they would take some of the people that their clothes and sell it in the desert. And this guy's I was spying on them in this memory, and they're like, "You have Cash App?" And they were selling the people stuff, and they do that.
Yeah.
Coyotes get paid to do all kinds of shit. But it's with all the technology and stuff and unmanned drones that we have, spyware, it's like, why don't they freaking just get rid of them? No, because they have to let certain amount in, and then like everything. I sent you that recording, which I am not gonna share here because that man here in town that got in trouble for ripping off some drugs that he wasn't supposed to, and it was just a slap in the hand, and he had to pay big fines. And he's still gambling. You know what I'm
And
saying?
it just shows you that the justice system is just for them. It's not for the common man. It's just for them to get off, you know, all these pedos and all these cartel people. Like, it's just for them, man, just to continue the evil and the perverseness.
Yeah. And, anyway, I know, girl. Let me play a little more, and then we'll see what else we talk about here. Oh yeah, we want to talk about that movie we were saying yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll see something like Britney Spears shaving all of her hair off, and they gotta secret her away
MK
into
Ultra.
some sort of institution and handle it. You'll see, you know, Diana turning back into David. You'll see Chaz Bono, who was raised as a girl, but most probably what was a boy. Ladies and gentlemen, from Television City in Hollywood, the Chastity
God.
Bond Show.
You can tell it's a boy. The way he's walking, like, that's a little boy.
There, I'll introduce you, and you can come out and
Girls are quicker at ABC.
here for it. 1, 2, 3. The girls are smarter than your computer, much more accurate,
Much more cuter.
girls. The times are changing, and we're right with them. We're in harmony. Are changing, and leave the diapers.
Leave the kitchen.
When all said and when all is done, we're
You got false eyelashes.
false eyelashes. Shall we go on with this? Everything else is real.
Is it?
Say it again. So something like Chaz Bono would be presented to us for the transgender agenda. They're like, oh, look,
That's just so sad.
into a male. When if you look into it from the beginning, it seems that she came up through one of these families, and that Chaz, was originally a boy and was breaking down and wanted to go back. And I'll go into the statistics on that later on, suicide rates and transitioning back and all of that. Okay, but let's jump back, Diana David, for a minute. I know this seems completely impossible, but there are lots of other suspicious things, anomalies surrounding this that predate Princess Diana's death. For example, here's a clip of President Reagan slipping up and calling her Princess David. It's only like a 10-second clip, but I grabbed it from Jungle Surfer TV. He does a lot of stuff on this. As always, all of the credits and all of the links will be below in the description box.
We have been able to have this affair with Princess David. Affair with Princess David, Princess Diane.
And they do.
She's all pissed.
You will see them calling these people by their
Like
name.
Michael instead of Michelle Obama?
Obama calling Michelle.
Michael Obama.
Michael and I also want to acknowledge your son Jack, who's deployed today.
Look, they're all laughing.
You know, well, when when Michelle's mad, I get worried. When when Michelle's mad.
He was gonna say when my Michael. Okay, let me forward a little more. It's kind of long. Ancient aliens, Nazi versus aliens. Okay, dude, this is what so you know, you told me that Jessica and Peter were on, and I was listening at the gym. I'm like, I gotta listen to him while I'm doing my cardio, man. It's good shit, right? And so they were talking about the NACI, the ¿cómo se dice? The symbol, and it actually dates to Pima Indians, and I'm like, dude, I live in Pima County.
Dude, yeah, no, I'm not too far either from Pima, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Are you Maricopa or what? Are you Maricopa or what?
Yeah, we're Maricopa.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the hell? And then Jessica was even showing like the swastika on pillows de las niñas, like
the girls' club or whatever it was. And then the Native American guy that had the on him, and then he had the like a And I was watching that movie Empire Records, and the pop star, he has this like a silver necklace, and it's a swastika on there, and I just noticed that, and I'm like, oh shit.
You know that swastika, Jessica and Peter, they were also showing the like in little stars and little dots, like the Big Dipper, dude, and the Small Dipper. That's what it reminded me of. Like, and I kept saying, thinking to myself, you know, there is this swastika thing that's in the Draco. What do they call it? The allá arriba en las pinches estrellas, ¿cómo se llaman? The give me the word. Like astrology and stuff. They have the Draco side. I don't want to say galaxy, but and it's shaped like that. Okay, and I'm thinking, okay, did they put it like como un pinche abanico, like if it was like the swastika itself, I saw a remote view that it was like right above the dome on Earth, and it goes and it oscillates in different axles and different, and then they tilted it 45 degrees. So I'm thinking these mother effers are probably using our loosh that way. Somehow our energy, they want to use it to take it up to do something, man. Y luego, what a coincidence that China is like the #1 in AI right now. Are they honoring this AI wannabe god, you know?
Not only that, but I was only there for 2 days, and I was on that construction site, and they're just building this big ass building just for a microchip company, and they're from China, and you know all the people or all the heads of people, they're all of them were from like either Taiwan or they were from China, and it's just like they're trying to take over, man. Like
it's actually gonna be for what I taught you guys in class. Remember the G Mafia? You know, Google, Microsoft, Facebook. You got Apple, IBM, Amazon, so Facebook. They are actually going to have in the smart cities the AI scan people, like if they're sick or whatever. And then instead of them leaving, they'll just call Amazon. Hey, Amazon, bring me my prescription. Or, hey, I ran out of orange juice or milk in the fridge. Like the fridge will be a smart fridge, letting you know what you know, your kids are already being taught by freaking AI on your laptops. And, you know, I'm sorry, I'm just like really, I gotta watch my language. I'm just
don't be like Peter, I will not watch my language.
Peter, I will not watch my language.
Oh, frig that.
He's funny.
I know, I like him.
They're awesome. And you know, and then Jessica shows these kind of like claws that are part of the swastika, and I have totally seen claw ships. I have pictures of them, and the ones that have the letter E as well flying up there, and I'm like, that's really interesting. Okay, I'm gonna play this real quick. Okay.
That's this Nazi UFO connection. That's the kings and queens that I've been showing in the video. That's the kings of the earth.
Dude, that reminds me of the kings and queens, the SSS queens and the SSS kings from the Terra Papers. Okay, ready?
The kings of the earth aren't these politician figureheads that they're showing us on the news. No. The kings of the earth are the literal kings and queens of these Illuminati bloodlines. And again, I don't necessarily mean the kings and queens that we are shown on the news. Those are the tip of the iceberg. The kings and queens I'm talking about, you will never see on a news broadcast. You have probably never heard their names. You can rest assured, if you see it on television or in the news media or magazines or any of that, it's a figurehead. That's part of the
front
they show us.
You know what I heard last week? I wrote it down. I have the date here in my journal. As soon as I wake up, I hear Draco emissaries. I'm like, these mother effers. That's what they are, Draco emissaries.
Oh yeah, emissaries. Yep, they're just their little slut puppets. That's all they're there for.
String pullers, the people who really consider themselves.
They're just their hench whores.
They're way in the shadows. They are the ones who are already.
And it reminds me of the program, the Shadow program, the Shadow group that Jessica and Peter from ACIO talk about also. They are involved with this. They're also all kinds of programs that are involved in this deceit. Okay.
Peace treaty. We're not waiting for anything. You're watching a magic show. You're watching theater on the news. That's an illusion that they are putting on to distract you. The peace treaty has already happened. They are already, these men in black, this shadow government, they are already in a treaty with these alien demon spawn races in the deep underground military bases, the DUMBs.
I'll
But
forward
I'm
it.
going to take my time and lay it out and start with the down to earth stuff, because when people see this stuff, it's just parody to them. You can't explain this in 9 minutes and expect the masses to believe this type of thing. So in this video, I'm just going to climb the stairs one at a time, and I'm going to try and lay it out in a logical way so that people can see that this is not science fiction. And because the devil is in the details, I think a lot of people have overlooked astounding links. Lots of people do research into the Vril Society and into world history and even into the alien agenda and even into cloning and different things like that. But if you really pay attention to the details of some of these whistleblower testimonies coming from the Montauk Project, coming from the super soldiers, coming from the My Labs, reporting these cloning centers and stuff, there's some really interesting details that people overlook in their testimonies that when you bring all of it together, it's really shocking. It's really hard to believe that something like the androgynes or the transgender agenda would play such a major role in this cabal, but it does. Here's just one of a zillion books that documents how this movement has gone through the ruling class all the way up from back at the
Look at it, says the pink swastika, homosexuality in the Nazi party.
mystery schools. Actually, this book, The Pink Swastika, Homosexuality in the Nazi Party, it deals with basically from the World War I, from the early 1900s, World War I through World War II and onward. And I like this book because he cites, it's so well backed up by evidence. This is not a theory at all. This is backed up by at least 200 sources of primary documents. And again, I know that they've rewritten history and twisted stuff around so we can't understand it. So you've probably heard, well, what? They rounded up homosexuals and threw them in the camps, didn't they? No, what happened was there were two factions. There were people doing legitimate research, medical research and psychology on genuine homosexuals, effeminate males. And leading up in the roaring 20s and everything, leading up to World War II, in Germany, there was a culture war similar to what is going on right now in our country, in the United States. And on the other side was this militant homosexual movement of the ruling class. And they didn't want to be mixed in. They didn't want to be lumped in with the effeminate male, genuine homosexuality sort of research. They believed that this was something for the ruling class because the homosexuality and the transvestite cross-dressing and all of the things that they practiced were part of sex magic or Satan worship. It was part of the...
Again, I'm quoting the Media Fair Act for educational purposes. The other day there was a meme out there that said, "Hey, dude, do you know what dude means?" Because I always use dude from the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Well, dude means a name for a male that is overwhelmed, preoccupied with fashion. Isn't that weird?
Wow.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
SRA that had come down these family lines in this ruling class. And they spoke openly about it, and they practiced that. So there were literally thousands upon thousands of people in the rank and file Nazi party who were arrested for sex crimes during that era, and they ended up being put through these sort of rehabilitation programs in the institutions in Germany And the doctor, the genuine doctors who were doing research and stuff had files on all of them. So that was the very first book burning, what we call the book burnings in Nazi Germany. It was actually them raiding the offices and burning their own criminal records for these sex crimes that they had committed, which was mostly homosexual pedophilia. They were largely pederasts. A pederast is a pedophile who likes older children, like in the tweens and teens.
Oh my gosh.
And I know the pink swastika and that kind of makes you chuckle or whatever, but seriously, this is nothing to be juvenile or immature about. This is a horror. These children that are brought up through these families, it's child abuse. The things that these children go through, these mkultra SRA programs, it's a crime against humanity, and it has to be stopped. This has to end. This has to come to light. Now's the time for it to come to light. So please view this as we go forward for what it is.
I'm gonna
Provable
forward
and
it.
absolutely 100% true that the A-list
Oh,
ranks.
remember Mrs. Doubtfire? I was also
Mhm.
Then I had my kids watch Mrs. Doubtfire. What? And Tootsie.
And then the Medea movies, the guy that's supposedly a Christian and he dresses up like a woman and shit.
Dude, that's false Christianity right there. How can you watch a male that's the thing. And when they're in Hollywood, I found out that if the man doesn't want to dress like a woman, they pretty much take him out, you know.
Right, or they just ruin their career.
Huh?
Or they ruin their career. They just, tell them that they say that they're crazy and they're, everything they're talking about is crazy, when they're trying to speak out, like Cat Williams, when he was starting to speak out about the Hollywood parties, and he's like, I saw these dudes that I never even thought would even do this, and I opened the door and I was looking for the bathroom and I see all these guys having sex with each other, and started talking about it, and then they started to paint him like he was a crazy person, and he ended up in jail and everything, and just discredited him. And so
No,
they'll either take you out.
that reminds me of the movie Air that I want to talk about the movie Air because you reminded me of when the scene where they're telling Michael Jordan, and Michael is a 13, which stands for reincarnation, like the yellow brick road of, and M like for McDonald's and the Wizard of Oz, and J is a 10, it's a 10, so it's when you add them up, it's number 23. And I have a prediction, I could be wrong, that they might take out Michael Jordan on 09/23/2023, which equals a 5, which is a jinn. I'm sorry, it's not a jinn, it's a walk-in. So a walk-in or change. So you know that they're like you said, they're creating this movie, and you said, yeah, watch, it's gonna be a lot of freaking Nike sales. And why? Because they want that magic. And I said, yeah, they're probably gonna put him in a clone body in another dimension or wherever he wants to be, just same thing that they did with freaking, ¿cómo se llama? El que se dice que murió en el chopper y la niña tenía 13 years old.
Oh, Kobe.
Remember Kobe?
Yep.
Right before the whole,
Kobe Bryant.
the whole, fake agenda that they have in March 2019. So when before, I didn't even know that had happened, and I wake up and right before I wake up, I see these hearts that are broken. In my dream, I'm in like a tattoo parlor, like getting a tattoo. I'm like, what am I doing here? And the walls are red, they're broken hearts, and there's like a 2, and then there's like a 3, and then there's a 13, there's a 5. And I'm like, I told the girl, why are all these broken hearts here? And then I wake up, I was in the chair. They had me in a chair, dude, like the dentist chair. They had me in a chair.
Hell no. Trip chair?
Yeah, like hell no, break ties with that shit. So this thing,
No.
and then my sister emails me or texts me and she says, hey, do you know Kobe died and his daughter? I'm like, bullshit, it's not right. It's not true. That's just the way they take, if they've signed an agreement with a special number, 42, 23, 21, 33, all these numbers have a meaning. So Michael Jordan is number 23 and they have an agenda for him. So anyway, let me get out of this. I will put this in the comments and see if I can play a little bit. Again, the Media Act, the Media Fair Act for educational purposes for the air movie clip.
I want to talk a little bit about the movie Dogma because I was reading the plot, and so the two angels, the rogue angels, are named Bartlett B and Loki. So Loki from,
Okay,
you know,
again, so I can look it up.
and then another angel, he's a seraph, and his name is Metatron.
Oh, what's the movie? So I can
Yep.
look.
Dogma, Dogma.
Oh yeah, I was gonna look that up. Movie.
Mm-hmm. And so the woman in the main character lady, she ends up finding out she's a direct blood relative of Jesus. So she's the last scion. So they're going after her because they're trying to get back into heaven. These two angels, these two dumb fuckers. And yeah, and then God is played by Alanis Morissette. So God is portrayed as a woman because you were just talking about that right now or a little bit ago. Yeah. So
that video, that YouTube video con la de esta, que estaba con el Justin Bieber, ¿cómo se llama? Not Gomez, is it Gomez? Selena Gomez?
Selena
Yeah.
Gomez.
¿Cómo?
Yeah, Selena Gomez. She has that song "God Is a Woman" or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna play this real quick.
That's why I had to come down here this morning, man. That's why I had to miss my car.
Lionsgate.
You tell me it's important.
That's a gate.
Going home. Take it. I couldn't leave me. People are gonna think I just broke up.
Two fallen angels. Agents discovered a loophole that can get them back into heaven. Finding work. All they have to do is get to Red Bank, New Jersey. There's only one problem.
You want with me?
Stop a couple of angels from entering, and thus
Dude, that's the guy that came out in that very
Harry
famous.
Potter. That's
negate.
him, Professor Snape from
Sorry?
Slytherin.
Huh?
He's the professor from Slytherin, the House Slytherin. It's just like, so it's crazy. He plays a seraph, and then now he's playing like a snake guy or whatever, or part of the snake clan.
Reptilian. And I find it that it's Lionsgate. You know, they always do these rituals. Oh, it's Lionsgate. Well, you know what? I ain't going to your freaking gate, and I ain't doing no meditation.
When people still out for them. Now, I'm to charge you with a holy crusade.
One person has been chosen to stop them, but she won't have to do it alone.
I'm Jay. This is my head of the light.
So funny, dude.
You gotta be kidding me.
Speaking.
What about sex? No sex. You guys just don't bother the sky, you know. What's that? I was the 13th apostle. You knew, right?
13.
Mm-hmm.
Brother owed me 12 bucks. How much she look familiar? Let me guess. 14th apostle. Like tickets to New Jersey, please.
Jersey's sold out, sir. I suggest you not underestimate the staggering drawing power of the Garden State.
They're successful. You, me, all of this ends in a heartbeat. I feel like Han Solo, you're Chewie, and she's Ben Kenobi.
Prepare to taste God's wrath. Anyone who isn't dead or from another plane of existence would do well to cover their ears right about now.
The world's against you, I swear to God. What's tonight?
God, it's got a great sense of humor. Take sex, for example.
Sex is a joke.
The way I understand it, it's mostly a joke down here, too.
Get it?
And you notice how it said Dogma, the O, it looks, because you know how Jessica and Peter were talking about the swastika, it looked like that could be a swastika almost.
Yep. Yep. Okay, so we'll do air and then we'll call it quits for now. And again, we're doing the Media Fair Act, so we can use this as educational purposes. If they take it down, then they suck. Still be on Rumble. Still be on Rumble.
I probably have to put like movie or something.
Huh?
Probably have to put like air movie or something like that. There you
Uh-huh.
go. 2023.
2023. Yep. And it came out in 2023. Okay, here we go. Wonder if they're gonna show, like, when they're talking to Michael, you know, they don't even show Michael, not even the actor of quote unquote Michael Jordan's face at all. And they got a 96%. We'll watch it and then you're gonna start talking about what you sent me yesterday and then I'll talk a little more, okay?
Mhm.
What you talked about on the text message.
1984 has been a tough year. Our sales are down, our growth is down. Sonny, I brought you in here to grow the basketball business. People don't know what the hell a Nike is. What's a Converse? NBA All-Star shoe. There's nothing cool about Nike. You would have to have a pretty compelling pitch. I can tell them the one thing the other companies can't compete with. Our basketball division is terrible. I do not love it. This is where you come up with a brilliant idea that no one else can see. Let's hear it.
So they say.
Found him. Who's that? Jesus? Can't afford it. I'm willing to bet my career on one guy. My name's Sonny Vaccaro. I'm with Nike. Do you typically make it a habit of showing up at people's front doors unannounced? I don't like to take no for an answer. Oh man, here we go. You asked me what I do here. This is what I do. I find you players, and I feel it this time. Yeah, okay, it's risky. When you were selling sneakers out of the back of your Plymouth, that was risky. Don't change that now. For a rookie, yes, who's never set foot on an NBA court. That's the literal definition of rookie, yeah. What's the plan? We build a semi around just him. I think the greatest basketball shoe that's ever been made. Who's the player? Michael Jordan. Your mother. Tonight. And the story is gonna make this one. But the two from
Or like grooming a legend.
Air Jordan. I don't know. Seriously. Maybe it'll grow on me.
And then the Just Do It is actually, they were even said in the movie, whereas this guy that is in death row and he, you know, he's getting ready to be done for and he says, just do it. Like, what are your last famous, you know, what are your last words, sir? You know, just do it. Like, fucking, you know. I was like,
You're programmed to say it, just do it.
yeah, but I'll let you talk first. What did you think about it yesterday when I said, hey?
Wait, talk about what?
About what you wrote to me. You want me to read it or you got it on WhatsApp?
Yeah, read it to me.
So let me find it. All right, you know what? I'll go to my Instagram because I actually wrote it out there, plus what I was gonna say about this whole thing.
Oh, the thing that you put on Instagram and then you kind
Yeah.
of tagged me or whatever? Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
All right, I'll read it and then you can talk.
Okay.
So, quote, this is you. And when people see this, they won't really see what they're saying. It'll bypass their critical thinking and straight to the brain where you get a dopamine rush and start building up magic, like Magic Johnson. Hold on, let me put my glasses on. Again, all these Air Jordans are going to start selling like crazy and you'll start seeing 23 everywhere. It's so sick, you wrote down. And what's so crazy is Matt and Damon play to rogue angels in Dogma. And I think Matt Damon's name is Dogma. was Loki. Matt Damon is Loki in the flesh. Nike. And I wrote down Nike, male and female, both, because the swoosh is actually a penis. I also told my close friends last year that when I interviewed Shambhala, Mario Mijares, in Looney Tunes, we did 2 videos on Michael Jordan, that they were going to take Michael L-E-L, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that they might be taking him out on 09/23/2023. That equals 3. The Cabal and Mike need this to get him into the body. They're going to be using him in another dimension, just like they used him in the movie Looney Tunes. So.
Oh, that's right. He did. He was in that fucking movie, Space Jam, right?
Space Jam. That was, I think it was Space Jam 2. And then, yeah. Yeah, they have all this AI dimensions and like all kinds of stuff going on. I haven't watched the whole thing, but I know my kids told me that they were watching it. They told me about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like. And it was because one of the guys was looking for his dad or something in the second one. Like there's always the absence of either a father or a mother. If you notice, the programming here on Earth is abandoned. Everybody on Earth has abandonment issues because the mkultra program has it done on purpose. Also, the surrogate program, all kinds of programs here on Earth to make a person, a child, become deficit as soon as possible of love, of direction, of a mother or a father figure, and then they use the mother or the father as well, sex, kitten altars, drugs, and it's like they get stuck in these realms here on Earth, and I mean, they just give up on themselves, and but the key is to break free. So anything else you want to say? I think I went off on a tangent.
Oh no, you're good. No, yeah, because that clip that you showed me from Magic, when they were saying that they're gonna build them up, that the people are gonna build them up, and that's when I said, I'm like, yeah, people are gonna start building them up again, because after they watch this movie, they're gonna get all like, like just something's gonna enter their body where they just feel like they have to pretty much start this whole like idol worship of him, just to build him up one more time, I guess, before he dies, and then he's like, now he is a legend or whatever, and people are gonna cry over him like how they did with Kobe. But yeah, people just don't see, like, really aren't seeing what they're looking at. They're just watching the movie. They're not seeing what's really happening, and they're not hearing. They're listening, but they're not hearing. So that's what what they're saying. Give people the bread in their circuses, and they won't revolt, or they won't ask questions, or they won't use their critical thinking. That beautiful thing in front of our brain, this thing right here. Use that.
Same thing with Elvis, the movie. What I see that they're trying to do with, because of the CERN collider, and they even show the CERN collider information on 3,000 years of waiting. The whole thing with CERN is that they want to bring us to the 80s, because they have found that if they bring everyone to the 80s, they can actually may have a chance to miss that Nibiru, not Nibiru, that wormwood or doom world that's coming in like about 185 years from now or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I see it too. They're trying to have us go back to the 80s.
Yeah, that's what happened. What is it in the second Wonder Woman movie? They go back to 1984.
And that is the whole CV, which I cannot even mention that because it's medical misinformation. The whole, we'll call it the baby Jabberwocky agenda. Exactly. And then now you're going to be seeing people, wear tracksuits again, parachute pants, and, the different colors that they use, those glasses, right? Star Wars. It reminds me of Star Wars when I was a kid. The whole Wonder Woman, and thanks for pointing that out. That's 1984. That's CV 1984. That is actually when this VIRUS was actually made. right?
Yeah, they just want people to get stuck in another time instead of being in the present. They're like, oh, go back to the 80s. Remember, that's when everything was so good and you were young and blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
that's where they want people stuck, back in their like either teenage or child mentality or when they were, what, barely in their early 20s or something. They just want people to go back to that and just be stuck there and just not really pay attention to what's happening over here. Just be stuck right here while we're doing this over here, and then before you know it, you can't. We're trapped in something else.
I was 13 in 1985, and I still remember, like the whole junior high thing. I had my first pair of Nike, Air Nikes for basketball because, my friend,
I was
best
I was
friend,
3 in 1984, I think.
huh?
Yeah, I was 3 in 1984 because I was born in 82.
That's so cute.
That's
That's what I got. The whole valley thing, I got stuck in the whole valley thing. I lived in LA, and every other summer I'd go to Mexico or LA, and then LA, my cousin lives there, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, dyed my hair blonde, platinum, the whole mini skirt thing. I came back all tan, mini skirt and a little tank top. My mom looks at me like, are you a prostitute? Are you a hoe? I'm like, no, mom, that's the style over there in California. Here in Tucson and in Nogales, everybody's like so blinded, like, oh, you can't show skin. So of course I'm the first one that comes back looking like a Barbie, all, mini skirt and all, and ¿qué estás haciendo? ¿Qué estás de la calle? Okay, I'm like, no. No, and it's just crazy, man, like the mentality. And they
Yeah,
do
I feel
it.
like in the 80s, like the sex kitten programming was kind of strong. Like the girls was trying to look all sexy with like the hardcore bright makeup and the crazy hair.
Yeah,
The platinum hair was the thing. If you didn't have blonde ass hair, then you weren't in style.
exactly. You were telling me, remember with Charlize Theron that I watched that movie a long time ago when
Oh,
it
Atomic Blonde.
Atomic Blonde, yeah. And that also has to do with the assassin program for women, not just sex kit, but the assassin. And
Yeah.
y'all know, if you look at that movie Spycraft or whatever on Netflix, it's a documentary of what the CIA does.
Yep.
Sex with this person, sex with that person, make sure you look like a prostitute, but you're not, but then you're being used as that to get information.
So you pretty much are a prostitute. You're not a prostitute, but you're gonna act like a prostitute.
Right,
So I
right.
am a prostitute.
And it's like, but you're not getting paid, okay, but why they program mostly women, I mean men too, obviously, because they love men, women, whatever they can get a hold of.
But they can get in anywhere easier because we're women. Especially if you look pretty, then you can get in anywhere. Of course they want just the beautiful women at the parties or at the wherever. So,
Yep. Even
so
people pay to go out with women just to be looked at with them. They'll take a woman to a very expensive dinner because she's so beautiful and dressed up, just because the guy wants the other guy in the room, which is probably homosexual, wants him to look. Oh, look what I got,
right. I got me some arm candy. I got me a little toy right here.
Yeah. It's like, what? You really want to let go of me? Like, you really, like, I got this really beautiful girl. You really, are you sure you want to let go of me? It's so stupid, like this program. Anyway, we'll end it there. Anything you want to say before we go?
People should just really, when they're watching anything, just be really mindful what they're watching, because you could get sucked in. You could be just watching and trying to look for something, and then all of a sudden you just get sucked in, and now all of a sudden you're just like into the movie, and you start thinking what's going on, like, oh, maybe I should dye my hair blonde, or maybe I should start doing this, or maybe, and you kind of have to like, yeah, it's like you kind of have to have some shields up when you're watching certain movies and things like that. I mean, it's nice to watch feel good movies so you can be put in a good mood, but even that too can be a trap because then all of a sudden you're just so positive and just trying to, like toxic positivity, and you're just really blinded by everything else, by that, and then you can't really see what's going on around you and being like the Pollyanna, looking in the good for everyone and every situation. So it's, be an optimist, but also be realist at the same time. You just can't be going through life with the shade covered or the shade colored sunglasses. everything's hunky dory when the world's falling around you.
The rose-colored sunglasses
Yeah.
or the butterfly
Yep.
one. Remember? I know you. Sorry. Like also, I think it was the 80s or 90s, like where they had these glasses that were like kind of like a butterfly, pink, purple. Hey, Lola, hold
Yep,
on.
I've seen those.
Huh?
Yeah, I remember those. I remember seeing those like in high school back in like 2000. I remember the girls like they would wear the butterfly tops that had the sequins on them, and then the glasses too. Looked like a little butterfly, especially after Mariah Carey came out with her album Butterfly. All the girls were like butterfly, butterfly, and I'm like, that's the Monarch programming.
Yeah, she wore those a lot, and I really liked them.
Hmm.
Well, Power Lady calls it beware of movies that pull on your heartstring. So remember, guys, beware of those movies. If you find that you're getting goosebumps on this Nike Air or whatever other movie that you're gonna watch, as soon as you start feeling those goosebumps, say, I use this energy for protection of my bloodline. I am so happy and grateful now that. If you're not going to do a mantra when you're getting these goosebumps, because that's the magic they're trying to pull from you, then say, return to center with consciousness attached, like without your energy. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things that you can do when you start feeling those goosebumpy things, or when you start crying about something in a movie. It's like that's the tentacles of AI trying to seep in to get your energy to be used as a swastika to take to them over there above the dome. That's all I'm saying. All right, guys.
Oh,
Thanks.
it is like we're just batteries. We're just food source and all that shit.
Batteries from, you can look at the movie The Matrix. Batteries, 24-hour batteries. Some of us have more than 24 hours. All right, Nick, te quiero mucho. Love you,
Te quiero
Celeste.
mucho también.
Bye.
Bye.